and welcome. This is Jennifer Vanderbeek, Imagine Artist in Residence, and today I'm going to show you this card that I made with the new VersaFine Clair ink. It's so cool. I'm so happy I get to play with this now. So the beginning of my card is based on that continuous stamping or broken stamping look, only I'm using embossing instead of stamping for my base image. I've used the sheet music embossing folder to emboss a piece of white card, and then I am going to sandwich the embossed white cardstock with some black and gold polka dot cardstock, and I am going to cut out some concentric stitched oval stacked die, and then I'm going to piece them back together, interspersing the black and gold polka dot frames with my embossed cardstock to kind of give it this continual but broken look. I think it's a really cool look. A lot of stampers use it just directly with stamping, and I just decided to kind of play with that idea. Now I'm going to use tear it tape to create a sticky base for reassembling my pieces. No matter how hard I try to keep everything straight, it never really does go back 100% perfect, but that's okay. By the time I've got everything put back in place, and even if some of the edges aren't quite right, I can always go back and trim up the edges of anything hanging over that card base. So now that I've got the card more or less squared up and it's ready to go, I want to do something to bring out that embossing. And so I am going to take the VersaFine Clair in Nocturne, which is the inspiration for this card, and I am just going to tap it over and kind of create like that rubbing effect. So the ink is going to catch not just on the embossing, but on the edges, as well as a bit on the concentric ovals there too. And then I embossed in spots, because VersaFine Clair, it is a pigment ink, but there's some really cool things I'm loving about this. First of all, it's a pigment ink, but it doesn't feel sticky. If you're stamping onto regular cardstock and you stamp your image and you touch your image, that ink's not going to come up on your hand. It didn't smear, it didn't smudge, it was not tacky, and so I think this would be really good for being able to do layered stamping. But then yet it still grabs your embossing powder a few minutes later, and I think that's really cool. So this is a hand-carved stamp. Any dress stamp would work for this. I'm kind of inspired by the whole girls' night out, going out dancing or to a party kind of idea that the name of the ink inspired in me. And so I have this little black dress stamp, and I have stamped it in the Nocturne, of course, and then I have coated it with the clear embossing powder just to give it some shine. And I love the way it turned out. It's so vibrant. The VersaFine Clair is incredibly vibrant. Now I have cut out Shine and Bright from some different cardstocks. The Shine is cut out from black cardstock, and the Bright is cut from this metallic golden white Woodgrain pattern. And before I did the die cut, I ran it through my sticker maker just so that I wouldn't have to worry about fiddly glue placement. And I am going to get everything arranged. Now, let me give you a little tip here. If you have die cuts, however you're gluing them down, but if you have some die cuts that you're putting onto a slightly uneven surface, like we have a dry embossed and then a heat embossed background, a combination embossed background here, it's just not really wanting to stick real well, because, you know, that happens. Using a coffee filter over the die cut and then rubbing it, burnishing it with the bone folder did a fantastic job of really pressing that die cut into my card without risk of snagging or denting my die cuts. So that's my tip from me to you. So I'm going to use some foam adhesive squares to pop up my dress, and then I'm going to put the whole thing onto another piece of that black with gold polka dots paper, and there's the card front. I hope you've enjoyed this so much. I hope you get a chance to try the VersaFine Clair inks soon. I love them. They are so fabulous. They're so rich and vibrant, and I look forward to using them on more projects in the future. Once again, this is Jennifer Vanderbeek for Imagine. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up or a like, share it with your friends, and as always, for more tips and inspiration, please point your browser to imaginecrafts.com.